Welcome back to Building Resilience, Love, Learn, and Lead or Let Go. And today we're talking about finding purpose in pain. I'm Nagam Al Samari, and I want to talk to you about something that we can not avoid, and that is having pain in our life. It, I'm sure you can all think of one at one point in time or another where you had something that caused you pain. This feeling resonates deeply within all of us. Pain and hardship are unavoidable. They're part of our life, but they don't have to break us. Instead, they can actually build us. Many of the most inspiring leaders, change makers, and innovators have transformed their struggles into their greatest strengths. Imam Ali alayhi salam says that hardships are a blessing, where they make you stronger. And John Maxwell actually has a chapter in his book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0, about pain and how, actually, the way he puts it is problem solving and how problem solving actually puts you on the map. It really helps you figure out who you are. And when you think about it this way, problems are associated with pain. John Maxwell says, every problem introduces a person to himself. If you think about it, this is how you get introduced to yourself. If you have, you know, uh, a time of peace, no problems, no issues, nothing is happening, everything is smooth sailing, it's fine. You got everything under control. But when do you actually get to visit your capabilities and learn more about yourself? And that's when you have a problem, when you're faced with a situation that you have to look deeper into yourself and kind of analyze the situation, pull back on the things that you know and have learned from your past, start learning some more, start asking questions because you've got this problem that you want to solve. So the problems actually introduce us to ourselves. They tell us who we are. And I'll be honest, this is one of the ways that I learned as a leader about my own abilities. They surfaced and they introduced themselves to me and they said, hello, I could do this, I could do that. This is how I can face these problems. And so today's episode, what we're going to talk about is how to embrace pain as a teacher and turn that challenge, that adversity we're going through, into a powerful force for growth, for purpose, and for leadership. So let's dive in. Let's start with the first in the framework, and that is love. And that is practicing self compassion in difficult times. Most of the time, when we experience pain in any situation, we always turn to be the harshest critics of ourselves, immediately blaming ourselves, and having these negative self thoughts about how we are not able to do something, or how we can't do something. And what happens is these negative thoughts block us from thinking more rationally and more logically, and it becomes really hard for us to actually engage in the problem, in the resolution of the problem. And so, what I want to remind you and myself is that when we do go through this, is to turn to self compassion. Um, think about, instead of these negative self thoughts, ask, how can I resolve this issue, or what resources do I have to actually go to and be able to fix this problem that I'm working on. So here's some ways to practice self-compassion. First of all, accept that it's okay to struggle. Your pain is valid. We can't expect, and this is not what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to, when you have a problem that you are faced with, when you have pain in your life is to just ignore it and say, I'm capable, I could do this. And this is really empty promises. But you first have to accept that it is okay to struggle, that we are going through a problem, that we are experiencing pain, and it is valid. Accept that. Then, second, speak to yourself in the way that you would to a loved one in pain. How would you speak to a friend who's going through a problem? What would you tell them? We do this very well. In fact, I want you to think about a time that you've done this before. We do this with such grace to our friends, but we don't do it with ourselves. So think of yourself as that really close friend who's going through something and talk to them. What would you say? Um, and third, allow yourself to rest and to heal without guilt. That's something else. When we're experiencing something, we are in a rush to find a solution, figure out the steps that we want to take, talk to the people that are in charge or in our charge to figure out how to actually get over the whole hurdle as quickly as possible. But sometimes it comes at a cost, and that is our health. And we want to make sure that we're allowing ourselves to rest and heal throughout this time, because yes, we're going to get through this. We're going to find a solution, but we need to do it while taking care of ourselves. John Maxwell also says, this reminded me, same in the same book, Developing the Leader Within You. He talks about the power of letting go of our the assumptions that we have for ourselves, number one, and two, giving ourselves time, stepping away from the problem and giving ourselves self time to actually rest. And so that way when we come back, we're coming back with a more powerful way to actually think about the problem that is before us. So let yourself rest and heal without guilt. Here is your action step. Ready for this? Write a compassionate letter to yourself as if you were speaking to a dear friend going through the same challenge. What would you write? All right. The next step in our framework is the learning process. Extracting wisdom from the adversity, because every adversity comes with a challenge. It challenges us to learn and grow. It brings wisdom with it, and we just have to see it this way. A lot of people go through the different adversities in their lives, and they don't actually see that there's wisdom to be learned, and it comes and goes, and they haven't really learned or grown in any way, and it is unfortunate. So um we have to actually first know that there is learning that's going to happen from these adversities. And there's something that is going to make us a better person, better human being from all of this experience. So know that first. Okay. They have, hardships could be painful. They could carry profound lessons for us to learn from. The key here is to shift from asking, why me? Because this is what we typically do. We go to why is it happening to me? I've already suffered enough. Instead of doing that, ask, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn from this experience? Nelson Mandela says the greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Failing is inevitable, right? We fall, that's normal, but what do we do after that? That is the greatest glory. And I love this one by Les Brown. A setback is a setup for a comeback. So are you ready for a setup? Are you ready to be set up for a comeback? You have to go through a setback to set you up for a comeback. I love this. Absolutely love this. So how do you turn pain into growth. First, reflect. I learned a lot from reflecting on my past experiences. I was just, in fact, today I was sitting there just thinking, and I was reminded of a an incident back to my teaching years, more than 10 years ago, with a situation that happened with one of the parents of my students when we were having teacher conferences, and she was talking about my teaching and she wasn't happy, and she basically said that I'm get her child in trouble a lot, and I jumped at the opportunity to ask, well, what do you recommend, emphasizing the and it wasn't an innocent question, and it was not a question of inquiry to actually engage the parent in actual problem solving. It was an immature question. It was a reactive question. I was sitting there today thinking about this and thinking, wow, there is a lot of power in questions, but you just have to frame it in a different way, right? It could come off like this combative and um just I'm basically trying putting up defenses against that other parent, instead of actually listening to them and seeing what they have to say. And then it took this many years for me to go sit back and reflect on this, to learn all of this. And this is there is a lot of power in reflection. This is why it's important for us to reflect on our past struggles and see how they've shaped us. How did they shape our character? And to identify these strengths that we have developed through the challenges. There are so many strengths that just go by unnoticed, and we don't even notice them. We don't even know that we've developed these strengths throughout our years of experience. So it is so important to reflect, look back at that experience, and two, what strengths did you gain? Write them down somewhere. And three, recognize that pain often precedes transformation. There's a lot of transformation that happens after pain. But again, we have to notice it, we have to accept it, we have to reflect on it, we have to learn from it and look at what our strengths are that we have developed. If it just comes and goes without being noticed, there is no transformation. We have to accept that there is a lesson to be learned and there's wisdom from this pain. So here's your action step for this one. Ready for it? Think of a past struggle that later led to a personal growth. What did it teach you? What did it teach you? All right, let me bring that back one more time. Think of a past struggle that later led to a personal growth. What did it teach you? This example I just mentioned. That's just one of the, one of the things that I've gone through, and I often reflect and think about my past struggles. And now that I'm thinking about them, I only think about the lessons. I only think about the things, the experiences that it gave me and how it made me grow as a person. So it is so important to reflect. All right, number three, lead. Number three in the framework is lead. Using your story to empower others. We don't want to be selfish. It's not just for us that we're learning. We have to share in the glory of the experience that we're learning and make sure that we're empowering other people around us. True leaders don't just overcome pain, they use it to uplift others. Your journey, whatever it is, through hardship can serve as a guiding light for someone else. I want you to know this. You're experiencing pain, you're going to learn something, and that journey is going to help other people. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. That's another one by John Maxwell. Let's say that one more time. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So don't keep everything to yourself. Here are some ways to lead through pain. Number one, share your story. could inspire someone who feels alone. We have a lot of stories in common. Sometimes we don't think much of our stories, or we think, oh, it's normal. I'm sure someone else has already has this, but you never know until you actually share. Share your story. It can bring inspiration, it can bring a resolution to somebody who's going through the same thing. Number two, offer mentorship or support to those facing similar challenges. You've gone through this road. Maybe you can help someone else who's going through it right now. And number three, turn your pain into a mission. Many great causes are born from personal struggles. A friend of mine who's unfortunately lost their child and to suicide is taking that experience and taking the stages around the country and around the world to talk about this and to bring awareness to other people. And he's not only doing this, but he's asking others with experience and expertise to actually bring that knowledge and help other people so that no one else has to go through that same pain. And so this is a great example of turning your pain into a mission so that you're taking this journey you've gone through already on and you are helping others through it. You're extracting the lessons out of this pain that you went through. Here's your action step for this one. Okay, ready? Identify one way you can use your experience to encourage or support someone else. Let's bring it one more time. Identify one way you can use your experience to encourage or support someone else. How can you do that? Okay, finally, the final framework. Let's take this down. Alrighty. Let go. Releasing regret and finding strength in your story. There's a lot of strength in our stories. We just have to kind of think about them a little deeper. Holding on to past pain, it can weigh us down. And letting go does not mean forgetting. It means choosing not to let it control you. You take control of the scenario instead. Right? We can just think about it with regret, with resentment for our past actions, maybe, or for the feeling that it makes us feel. There's so many different ways, a mix of emotions that we go through when we think about past pain. And letting it go isn't forgetting, it's just changing how you feel about it, how you're taking control of that story instead. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. I absolutely love this Lao Tzu quote. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. So how do you let go and move forward? All right. First, release resentment and focus on healing. And this is a really hard one to say. It's so easy to say, right? Release resentment. How do you release resentment? The first thing that is something that I have tried and helped others try is imagine you're talking to somebody. Okay. Imagine there's somebody sitting next to you and you're talking to them about this. And I want you to actually say it out loud and ask the question, why am I feeling this way about this situation? And fill in the blank. How are you feeling? And what situation are we referring to? What pain, what problem, what adversity are you referring to? Okay. So fill in the blank for your own situation. Say this out loud as if you're talking to somebody, and don't just think it. Say it out loud. Once you start putting words to things and you hear yourself talking, it's different than the self-talk that's inside, which can get mixed up with other thoughts and emotions and easily forgotten. Instead, say it out loud, pretend you're talking to somebody and say, why am I feeling, fill in the blank, about this, fill in the blank, whatever situation you're going through. It's you're gonna start thinking about this as if you're talking to somebody else and someone else is actually asking this question. And you're gonna bring it out of your I believe it's the amygdala part of your brain to another part of your brain where it's more logical and rational, so that you're going to think more in a logical way about it and find some ways that actually will help you figure out why you feel the way you do. And second, acknowledge that pain shaped who you are, but it doesn't define you. It shaped what you've become, but it's not it is not your entire being. It part of it became who you are. So acknowledge that. And three, find meaning in your journey. What did you gain from this, from going through this? There's always something to be learned. And trust that everything has a purpose. What has this journey led you to learn? What were the lessons that you've gained from this experience? And how are you going to help others go through this, and how are you going to grow from this and build on to your experience? All right, here's the action step for this one. Ready for it? Let's find that action step. For this one, I want you to write down something you need to let go of. What is it? What do you need to let go of? Read it one last time, then destroy or discard it as a symbolic release. What is it that you need to let go of? All right. Drop your comment. How has a past challenge shaped who you are today? What did you go through and what lessons did you learn? Pain isn't just something to endure and just feel, and that's it. And it ends and it's gone. It's not supposed to be this way. It is supposed to be something to transform. By practicing self-compassion, learning from hardships, using your story to lead, and letting go of past burdens, you can turn that pain into purpose. Right? What pain did you go through? What problems did you solve in your life that helped shape who you are? What purpose did you gain? There's a lot of stories, and please share your story with others. There is someone out there that is going to listen to your story and be inspired. And when I say someone, I mean a lot of someones, because we go through similar experiences and sometimes wonder, how would I have solved this in a different way? And you feel stuck. But when you hear someone else's story and you see what they've gone through and you see their solutions, something will resonate. And this is why we share. This is why it is important that we take our learning and share with others, and we lead with it, right? We want to make sure that whatever we're going through isn't just going to dissipate and nothing, nothing sticks. We want to make sure that we are learning from all of these experiences. Alrighty. So today's action steps: write a compassionate letter to yourself as if you were speaking to a friend. Think of a past struggle that later led to personal growth. What did it teach you? Identify one way you can use your experience to encourage or support someone. And finally, write down something you need to let go of. Read it one last time, then get rid of it as a symbol of release, of letting go. Okay. So, what have we learned today? There is purpose in pain. We just have to acknowledge that. We have to accept that there is a purpose and there is transformation that is going to come after that. Before you go, share how you found purpose in a past challenge. Reflect, reflect, reflect. The way we learn is actually by reflecting on past experiences. Follow Lead with MCAN for daily inspirations. If you found this helpful, share it with somebody, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and Set your reminder so you do not miss any episode of building your resilience. Next episode, we're going to talk about courage over comfort. We love comfort. We love our comfort zone. We're going to talk about how to step outside of that comfort zone and take bold actions in life and in leadership. So don't miss it. Until next time, keep leading with resilience, keep learning, and keep sharing. Lead with resilience. I will see you next time.